Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm fine. Jennifer, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm just getting everything situated here for you. Are you having a good day today?
Yes, I hope you also have a good day there. Uh,
Oh,
my
yes.
schedule is a little bit tight here, but it's good that we have this at last being pushed
Yes,
through today.
yes, definitely. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me and go over your IELTS journey and all of that. So we really appreciate you doing that. My name is Jennifer. And can you tell us your name?
Good evening from the Philippines, everyone. My name is Ruel Riva. I am a Connetics nurse, as you can see in my screen. And I've been a nurse for quite some time now. I started off my career as a nurse, as an emergency room nurse in one of the hospitals here in the Philippines. Then I ventured into teaching as a nurse clinical instructor for several years here in the Philippines as well as in the Middle East. Now I'm back here in
Oh,
the Philippines, working as a staff nurse in one of the hospitals here, intentionally for the required number of years to be placed there, to be employed there in the U.S.
okay. Well, that sounds really great. Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you for telling us a little bit about yourself and your name. And I guess you're excited to move to the
Yes,
USA.
of course. American dream. I hope it will be soon.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that before we dive into your IELTS journey. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your American dream?
Come again. I'm having an issue with
Uh,
my audio.
oh, it's okay. I just was saying, do you mind telling us a little bit about your American dream? Why you want to move here?
Yeah, of course. It's it's been my dream before. Even I take the nursing course.
Okay. We might be having.
I use the word because until now, I'm still here in the Philippines and still aiming to be employed there in the U.S. It's quite a bumpy, what do you call this, ride all along until now. But I hope this American dream will be materialized anytime soon. It's not for me maybe, but for my family, my kids who are hoping to be there in the U.S.
I think we might be having a little bit of connection problems here. I'm really sorry. Okay. Are you still with us, Ruel? Okay. I think there might be. Oh, are you with us again?
Yes, yes, of course.
Oh, good. I think there's just a little connection problem, probably just the internet or something. Um, Well, I think maybe we lost Ruel. He's probably going to log right back in. Where is he? He'll probably get on his phone, so if we just wait 1 second, he'll log right back on and we won't lose him. Thank you for being here, everyone, today. Wherever you are, which part of the world you are from, I'll wait for Ruel to come back. So I'm in the States. I'm in Georgia. They call it the Deep South. Um, so we've been here for a while. Oh, look, I think Ruel is back.
Well, I'm back.
You're
Sorry
back.
for the internet signal.
Your connection. Well, do you mind going back through just the last maybe minute? I think we missed maybe a minute. You were just going over why you want to move to the U.S. and telling us about your American dream. I think it was a little choppy. Do you mind just going over that again?
Okay. From the beginning, the reason why I took nursing is because I want to move to the U.S. And work there and start my family there. However, this journey is a little bit bumpy all along until now because I encountered recessions along the way. I'm almost on the process of uh, processing my papers. Already have finished my CGFNS, and I already have received my visa screen way back 2004,
Okay.
2005 May, that America has experienced during that time. And so now, after several years of being stagnant with this American dream of me, I
Hmm.
I am trying to, what do you call this, go back into it and then maybe somehow try my luck this time. And Connetics is somehow showing positive signs that this dream will be materialized anytime soon. Thank you very much, Connetics.
Yeah, that is great. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, there's some challenges for this year. Everybody trying to come to the U.S. and the virus and all of those mishaps, but we're glad that you're able to get through it and you were able to finish your exam, which is very exciting. So that's very nice. And you're one step closer. You're almost here. So that's good. Um, can you tell us about your, your experience with IELTS, your previous tests and that sort of thing? Kind
Actually,
of,
I already
go ahead.
I already passed IELTS before.
Huh.
After taking the CGFNS and pass it, I took the IELTS immediately after that, and
Oh, oh, uh-oh. We may have lost Ruel again. Probably just a little connection issue there. Um, bear with us. Sorry, everyone. Ruel was on to tell us a really good story. I guess he had already taken his IELTS exam and he passed, and then he had to take it again. It probably expired. So maybe Ruel is going to get on his phone again. Um, hmm. Maybe if he goes outside or something, maybe the connection, you just never know. The internet companies. Oh, Ruel, hi. We lost you for a minute. Sorry about that. Well, thank you for telling us about. So you were just saying that you had taken your IELTS before, and you had passed your
sorry about the
IELTS.
internet here in the. It's This is the situation here in the Philippines during this time of the day.
Oh,
The internet signal is very unstable. stable. That's the reason why. But
Oh no.
unfortunately, it's still the nighttime.
Okay, well that's okay. You just can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me right now? Okay. Well, you were just going over your experience taking your IELTS exam. We lost him again. Shoot. Oh boy. Oh man. Well, this is unfortunate, isn't it? Oh, there's Ruel. Sorry about that, sir. Can you hear me now?
Come
Can you
again,
hear
Jen?
me now? Oh, okay, good. I just wanted
Yes,
to
yes,
see if you.
I can hear you now.
Oh, good, good. You just were telling us that you had taken your IELTS exam and you had passed in the past. Is that right?
Yes, I passed already the IELTS before. That's the reason why I have already my visa screen, but it expired after 5 years.
Hmm.
Then during the time that I took the IELTS now, it's a little bit different during compared to the previous ones because before I took the paper-based test, but this time I took already the computer-based. It
Hmm.
is a new way of taking the IELTS, but I can say that this computer-based is a little bit convenient on the part of the examiner, not only on the part of the uh, IDP or the one giving the test for checking, for convenience of checking, but also to the test takers. Because you see, the technology evolves nowadays, and computer is always there to help and guide us and aid us in making life easier for us. And I think those who will be taking the IELTS anytime soon should not be scared or be afraid to take the computer-based IELTS examination. So
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, I
a
like
new way
that.
of taking the IELTS, not only the paper-based. But it depends on you if you are comfortable in taking the paper-based test.
Mhm.
It's up to you.
That's great. Yeah, you bring up some really great points. The exam is very convenient, all done online, and assuming that your internet connection or whoever's internet connection, there's no issues and this and that. It's a really great opportunity and a great thing. Like you said, it's a lot easier than a paper-based exam and preparation. So you're right. That's great. And
Yes, yes.
did you, yeah, and did you recently took your test, and how many hours would you say that you studied your test to pass this exam this time?
Oh, actually, I'm only studying at night time. Usually, I spend 2 to 3 hours at night time during the preparation. It took me more than 2 weeks, of course, to prepare. Almost a month for that matter. By the way, I passed the test December 13, 2020, and I'm sorry if I only have scheduled this interview only now because the schedule is a little bit, as a worker and at the same time a family man, sometimes your schedule really is very topsy-turvy.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
then
Well,
again,
that is
during the
okay.
preparation, I do not mind actually the number of hours that I spent during the preparation. What I am aftering is the topic or the the coverage that I can finish. I usually um, set as a goal to cover certain topics in a day, and that is what I usually finish. Considering that my preparation is only at home and online with Connetics tools, uh, sometimes at home your kids will disturb you, and so this
I know
kind
all
of
about.
things cannot be avoided at home. And
Mhm.
so sometimes I do not usually study based on the number of hours, but rather on the number of topics that I can cover, which I initially set for the day.
Yes, I think most of us. Can you hear me? Are you there? You're choppy again. I think most of us can relate to exactly what you're talking about, what you're saying. A lot of outside influences, distractions while you're studying. Are you with us, Ruel? Oh, I hope. Oh, there you are. Well, I hope some of you are. You can hear what he's saying. This is unfortunate that this happened. Hope we don't lose you again. Let's see. Where are you? Oh, all right. Well, we lost Ruel for a second. Um, he is going to log back in for the last part of our little interview here, and it's unfortunate his connection is not better right now, but it's probably, like he said, 9 o'clock his time in the Philippines, and everybody is using the internet there, probably. So, um, Ruel probably is going to log right back on any minute. I hope everybody is having a good day wherever you are, all around the world. Um, oh, okay, that's so good. Ruel,
So going back going back to the topic that I am discussing a while ago before we were interrupted by the signal. My preparation is more, as what I have mentioned, more on the coverage that I have set for the day, and usually I do it based on the task that was set also by ZOS, Connetics, and it is very helpful to really go through the program of ZOS Connetics step by step, because it's just like going into a program, uh, a program that will start from the beginning or starts from one until it will become complicated. And there are a lot of examples there that will help hone your skills, not only your knowledge, but also your skills. You see, IELTS exam is not mostly the test of knowledge, but more on the skills that you have in English language. So to hone or to develop your skills, you really have to go into uh, several sessions of practice and several what do you call this, tasks to accomplish. And these tasks are all present in the source context program that is provided by Connetics.
yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. So it helps to go through all the modules and get as much information as you can before you go take your exam. Yeah, you're right. That's good. That's good information and great advice. And I'm glad that you were able to get through it. So, what pointers would you give to all the other nurses needing to pass their IELTS exam? What tips would you give for the speaking, the writing, listening, and reading? What would you recommend them do to ease the process of finishing their
Uh, okay, for the listening, actually they say that listening is the easiest part of the IELTS, but I will not say the same thing, because it might easy in the sense that you will just be listening, but there are things to be considered if you are taking the test specifically on the listening part. You see, during the preparation, sometimes you might be hearing, but not really listening to the things that you need to listen to. My tip is that you have to practice how to develop active listening rather than selective listening, because this is usually the mistake of those taking the IELTS test. They are just selecting somehow and waiting for the answers. But no, you have to really actively listen to the things that the speaker is saying, because uh, you have to understand somehow the general concept that the speaker is talking about in order to grasp the things that you need to put, or the answer that you need to get from this speaker on a certain part of your test. And so active listening is the only tip that I can give during the for the listening part. And I think can you
You
hear
might,
me, Jen?
yeah, I can hear you right now. It is a little choppy, but I can hear you right now.
Okay, can you hear me now, Jen?
I can hear you, and yeah, you were
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
that's okay.
Okay,
We
as
got
what I okay.
oh,
Actually, the technique to get a high score in the listening part is really to practice. There are a lot of tasks that are available in the SOS program, as well as in the internet. You can download the practice videos where you can practice several, where you can access several practice tests. And on the reading part, this is where I get higher score compared to other part of the um, test. Uh, and the technique that I use, I think, is effective since it is a computer based. I have this, what do you call this? I have more time to go through the all the aspect or all the details of the reading test. You see, in paper test, this is my experience. I usually cram, or I usually what you call this panic, because
mhm.
I do not know if I am already late or I am already behind the time that I need to pursue to finish the test. You see, the computer-based test is very convenient because you have the time in front of you, and considering the number of topics still to read, you can divide the time and somehow get the general idea of what you will be reading, and you will be answering the test very well. And in reading, there's a tendency for the test takers to panic because of the time limitation. Don't panic. That is my advice. You really have to find time to finish the articles, and this time, if in listening you have to be active listening, in reading you really have to develop your skills in scanning and the other technique of just looking on the general idea of what you are looking based on the questions. By the way, in answering the reading test, you have to really uh, read the questions first so that you will be guided on what to look at during the test.
Yes.
Now, on the aspect of writing, there are a lot of videos that you can see in YouTube. You cannot help but to scan other resources in the internet, aside from, of course, Source Connetics. Although Source Connetics provided a lot of materials and give you opportunity to provide uh, uh, a writing and feedback with Alex and other stuff in in Source, you cannot help but to scan other resources in the internet, especially the YouTube. And YouTube has a lot of strategies being provided by the bloggers.
Mm,
My advice is this: you have to develop one single manner of writing, wherein you develop one structure that is best suited to you, and that is what you are going to use every time that you practice, every time that you practice until the time that you take the test, and you will never go wrong. If you will change the way you write, or the structure that the manner by which you write the structure during the test, then you might not be able to finish it on time, or you might not be able to get the number of words required, like 150 on the first part and then 250 on the second part. Stick to the structure that you are used to, and then that is what you're going to use during the test. On the aspect of speaking, Connetics, especially Alex, I'm going to mention this, and I'm going
Yeah.
to Alexander.
Oh,
Really,
yes.
it's very helpful with his regular Friday night, 11 o'clock in the Philippines session of speaking. Even if I am not being called during the time for face-to-face interview or practice, I actively listen and participate in the chatting. So some of this helps, and the idea of study partner is very helpful. There are a lot of what we call this reviewee, same as me during that time, who benefited with this, and I personally say that I am one among those who benefited with this study partner
Oh,
program of SOS Connetics.
that's great. That's really great. You gave a lot of pointers. You got gave a lot of really great helpful advice to read everything and read it slow. So that was really good. And try not to worry about the time frame so
Another
much.
thing in
Yeah.
the speaking, one of the one of the tips that I can share
I think you might be cutting out again a little bit. Uh-oh.
come again, Jen. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I think you were just cutting out a little bit, but I can hear you now. Continue. Go
Come
ahead and
again, Jen. I'm sorry about that.
sorry. Sorry. Go ahead and continue. I think you were just breaking up a little bit, but continue,
You
please.
were saying
I just was agreeing with your recommendations and your pointers on what to do to get through the IELTS exam. I agree with what you're saying and read everything thoroughly and try not to worry about the time limit so much. You gave some really great advice.
thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So, what would you say was the hardest part of the exam? Was there a hard part or an easy part?
I think I will not say there is an easy part in the test. All parts are very challenging, but I will specifically mention the speaking part because this is a little bit nerve wracking, especially for those uh, who have some issues in terms of confidence or self confidence.
Yes.
The thing is that in order for you to really be confident during the speaking test, you really have to prepare. And preparation means you really have to practice
Mm-hmm.
with the face to face or study partner. You really have to be diligent about the regularity of your practice in front of the mirror. Even if you are in the bathroom, maybe you can just practice mentioning or like introducing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe talking about your career, because you talking about your hometown, or you talk about your hobbies, because you will never know what will come out during the test. And the questioning is really global. It means it covers a lot of things, and you will never know what will come out.
Yeah.
And the technique there is you really have to talk about your experience. They say that you can make up. It's okay to make up, especially if you don't have anything to say anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to advise you that you really have to uh, reserve things, issues or events in your life based on experience, because this is easier to discuss. Even if you will be asked a question as a follow up on these topics, you can easily reply because it is already in your mind. rather than to grasp it from the air and then what will I say next. But if it is based on experience, it's in your mind and you can just express them as they come along during the test. And this is, I think, uh, one of the technique that I use. I say things based on experience, like my 2 minute what you call questions, where I have 1 minute
Mhm.
preparation. That is very hard. For 2 minutes to talk for 2 minutes for a single topic, and 1 minute preparation, and you will never know what will come out as a topic for your
Mhm.
discussion.
Yeah.
I think if you will talk about experience, my experience about my kids, that's what I talk about. And so
Which I love
the rest
that.
of the questions
No,
that come up after that as a follow-up question really come out easily during my during my answer to the question. But then again, really, I have difficulty with the speaking. It's good that I got seven band score with the speaking. That's a little bit just hanging through the thread to meet the required number of band score for speaking, and that's my experience.
yeah. Well, it sounds like you did really well, and you've got to take the exam a couple of times now, so you're a professional at it. So that's really great.
Yes, thank
Um,
you very much, Jennifer.
yeah,
Um, I hope whatever things that I talk here can inspire those who will be taking the test yet, and somehow they can pick one or two tips on how to take the test uh, during the examinations too.
definitely. You gave a lot of support, and you're going to help a lot of the nurses in the future, near future, take their IELTS exam and pass. You gave a lot of recommendations, which is really great. I'm glad to see you pass, and I'm glad to see you get through this hurdle. And your next step is well, this is done with and over with, and your next step hopefully is moving to the U.S. So that will be great. And it sounds like your English is great. It sounds really good, and I think you getting through the exam probably helped with your confidence and being able to speak too. So I think that's really helpful. So thank you. I really appreciate your time today, and I'm sorry that the internet connection wasn't the best. I apologize for that, but I am very thankful and the whole Connetics team that you took the time out of your busy day to speak with us about your IELTS journey and to help all the other nurses. We really appreciate that.
Thank you also, Jennifer, for giving me this opportunity. This is my first live interview that is being
Oh,
viewed or maybe viewed more
great.
by people out there. And hey, thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching this video. Somehow, uh, I inspired you and they help you get some tips on how to take the IELTS test.
Definitely.
And see you soon. I'm wearing my Statue of
Oh, I
Liberty
love it.
shirt,
Love
and
it. Yes,
hopefully
fabulous.
anytime soon,
Great.
my American dream will be
You
materialized.
will be here
Thank
soon.
you very
You
much,
will see me.
Jennifer, and
All
thank
right.
you very much, Connetics.
Thank you very much. You have the best day.